Have you ever wanted to know how a VPN can hide your IP address and keep you safe online? Welcome to our channel. I'm Thomas, and today we're going to talk about what a VPN is. We're going to break it down, even the acronym portion of it, explore its various different types, and just talk about the overall benefits of a VPN, what it can do for you. With that being said, let's get into the details. Let's start with the acronym part. Everything's an acronym these days, at least it seems that way, so why not? VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. Simple as that. The virtual means that there's no physical hardware or cables involved, everything happens digitally. The private portion is nothing more than keeping your online activities safe and secure through masking your IP address and encrypting your data. The last part is network. And all that is, or when we're referring to VPN, all that is keeping your activities private and secure while you're browsing the web, sending emails, things of that nature. It basically just encrypts your data. If anybody gets a hold of your data, then they can't read it. It's like code. It also masks your IP address. So no matter where you are in the world, when you access the internet, your IP address will show up somewhere entirely different. Now let's talk about the different types of VPNs. Generally speaking, there are 4 different types. You'll find that the names of these VPNs pretty much describe themselves. For instance, the first one is Remote Access VPN. Remote access is for employees that do not work in an office location. They work from home, something that really grew exponentially throughout and after the pandemic. Now, these workers will need to be able to access their company's internal network from wherever they're at, and that's what a remote access VPN allows for, a private and secure connection while they're doing that. The second is site-to-site VPNs, and this is basically taking the employee out of it, and it's just 2 businesses or offices that need to connect privately and securely with each other. That's the extent of it. Next up is the personal VPN. This is the one you hear about the most often. It's generally the one most people are using. It's so individuals who want to connect privately and securely to their own network can do so through their own personal VPN. The fourth one is mobile VPNs. Mobile VPNs is nothing more than your cell phone, your tablet, things of that nature. It is usually a VPN that's accessible through a client app that you download just like you would for a game or some other app on your phone. Now when you're talking about VPNs, one of the terms that you'll hear the most is IP address within various different contexts. So what is an IP address? Think of it as your home address, but on the web. All an IP address does is identify you on the network, so when you're accessing websites or requesting information, they know where to send the information. Unfortunately, an IP address can also reveal your location, and that's where VPNs come in handy. So what actually happens when you use a VPN? We really could probably do a couple of videos just on this process alone, but to keep things basic, it turns your information, your data, into code. If somebody somewhere else, a hacker, something along those lines, intercepts your data, they can't read it, which is the entire point. It's basically camouflaging your information to help you keep it private and secure. It's really that simple in layman's terms. Now the second thing it does is a little simpler. It masks your IP address. Okay, so when your IP address shows up, someone else is looking at it, they're not actually seeing your IP address. Remember, your IP address is essentially your home address on the network. What they're seeing is the VPN's IP address, and that IP address could be just about anywhere. It could be in London, it could be in Japan. It just really depends on the VPN and how everything's set up. Point is, they're not seeing your IP address. They're seeing an entirely different one that's nowhere near where you are located. So with those 2 things, your data is encrypted and your IP address is masked. So you can browse the internet safely and securely without anybody being able to sift through your stuff, without anybody violating your privacy, and without anybody knowing your IP address. Now let's go with a real world example here. Let's say you're connecting to public Wi-Fi at an airport or a McDonald's or somewhere along those lines. I would highly advise you never to do that. Anyway, public Wi-Fi is notorious for not being very secure. But just for the sake of giving you an example, let's say you are accessing public Wi-Fi without a VPN. And you go on to one of your banking apps to check out your bank account, something along those lines. If someone is looking at that Wi-Fi network there, you are basically exposing everything on your phone, especially that bank account information. Without a VPN, you don't have any protection. You cannot keep prying eyes out. In that same situation, with a VPN, before you ever log into your bank account, you've already connected to your VPN server, which it could be, let's say, in London, okay? And you're in a McDonald's in Idaho, or at an airport in Washington. Okay, as far as anybody else knows, looking into that network, you're in London, okay? Not only that, but your information, everything you're looking at, your banking info, all the stuff that's popping up on your screen is converted into essentially gobbledygook. And if anybody's spying on that network, they can't read it. So, with all of that being said, there are a lot of benefits to having a VPN. Number one, you can conceal your IP address. Number two, you can safely connect to public Wi-Fi. Remember, I said earlier, connecting to public Wi-Fi is notoriously, let's just say, unsafe. I personally wouldn't do it with or without a VPN. You can access your home services without having to worry about anybody getting into your privacy and violating your security online. You can avoid price variations in different locations. You know, some places have different, depending on what you're ordering and where from and where you're situated when you're ordering, those price variations can change, and you can avoid all of that with a VPN. You can shop online with enhanced security. You can prevent bandwidth throttling. Now, a lot of ISPs do this. I don't know why, but they still do it to this day. If during heavier traffic times throughout the day, they may throttle your internet speed because there's a lot of traffic. You can avoid that altogether, and it also will help you avoid denial of service attacks. You can maintain your online privacy even in places with restricted internet. Some countries have restricted internet, and if you're accessing a VPN, you're not going to be on the servers in that country. Therefore, you can get around some of those privacy or some of those internet access restrictions. There you have it, quick, easy, and simple. Hopefully this guide helped you understand VPNs a little bit better, what they're for, you know, basically what they do for you and how useful they are, because I think they are incredibly useful. But really appreciate everybody checking it out today. We're going to start with the basic stuff here with this video, and we're going to work our way to the more complicated stuff. So definitely hit that like and subscribe button so that we can get there on that journey together. Really appreciate y'all checking us out, and remember to stay safe online.